Tragedy unfolds as unsettling details emerge from Summer Wells' disappearance, raising chilling questions about the Wells family and their guilty knowledge of what really happened.
It was like, hey, but never know. They could have had a drug debt that they had to pay off with Summer. I agree with that. Isn't a lot dead in this case? What does that mean? We're up to speed right now, so I'm not sure.
If you want to see how we came to that theory and all the nuances, because I do know that it sounds really crazy, but it's the best theory we have for this case based on the parents' own words. All right, let's keep listening.
Summer was reported missing on June the 15th of 2021.
We know that she was taken off her property, and we know she was taken away in a vehicle, or they would have found her in the area if she was someone.
Again, that's oddly specific, isn't it? That's oddly specific. He's saying, I know she was taken off the property. I know. I mean, this is, and there you go. I mean, I know. That's my conclusion with DD. I mean, I'm with that. I'm halfway with that and halfway with something bad happened and they were renting her out previous to that. Absolutely. And Candace knows everything as well. All right. You have TNT. You're in Tennessee Twister. I've helped in searching for Summer. I have been here from the beginning. Oh, well, awesome. I'm glad to have your input. You say she made it to the road. And yeah, how does he know? Right. Well, what about Chris Proudfoot? Well, we heard yesterday. How did he know that Sebastian was kidnapped and that if he runs away, they're not going to be able to know who it is because nobody knows about it? What?
In the area. But who's responsible for her? We don't know.
I asked Don and Candace when was the last time they heard from investigators.
We haven't lately at all. It's been a while, over a year, I think. I haven't talked to any law enforcement at all. I tried to talk to the FBI agent about it, but that didn't go anywhere.
Don says he feels that he and his wife Candace were targeted by the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office.
They intimidated us, they belittled us, and done everything they could amidst all the chaos. And then the CPS was there doing the same thing.
Don didn't say he doesn't know who's responsible for kidnapping Summer. He just said he doesn't know who's responsible for her. And that might be an example of leakage. Leakage is such an important concept in statement analysis that's actually a card in my deception deck, my 52 favorite rules for spotting lies and manipulation. I've put that on your screen now if you want to read the full rule, but the gist is this: liars can sometimes unintentionally reveal the truth through their choice of words. And that's because it's challenging to suppress a real memory while telling a falsehood. In this case, Don might be unintentionally revealing that he knows Summer's out there alive.
And y'all already, I see y'all in here. You guys are deception detective people talking about leakage, etc. Right? Normally I pull out the deck and I start going with it, but we're going to talk about this today. What do you guys think about? What do you think about the Hunter? What do you think about Hunter and the shed at the bottom? I want to know from those that have been involved. We're going to put that up next. We're going to look inside. We have a lot more to talk about, but I want to know what you think about that, the shed at the bottom. And the interview room has been covering this heavily. I got this clip I want to show you. I want to know what y'all think. Right, Jay, I really want you to dig into the fact that Candace's sister was taken also and never found. I've also wondered, did he do it? Interesting. I mean, there's so many things, though. There's so many things to look at. And that's what we're going to get at today, Coffee and Dog Studios. But I would be happy to look into Candace's sister being taken also. There's just so many things. And Running Bear says, I think Hunter has guilty knowledge. We're going to look at that right after this. Guys, all you need to do is hit 300 likes. There's 451 people. Just a little bit ago, we had 502 people. Get to 300. And we're going to give a Foxy box, guys. You're going to want those. All right. And Kitty, I'm glad you love DD. I do too.
Someone else's care, but he just doesn't know who that person is, which would make sense if my theory about this case is correct, as unlikely as it is. But the biggest red flag is coming up next. Listen closely.
When asked about how he thinks about Summer's disappearance 3 years later, Don spoke about a Department of Children's Services investigation.
They said somebody had called and said that we was giving our kids loaded guns to play with.
That's it right there.
So they closed the case June 14th, which is something CPS does not do. They don't just cases. So it's really odd. And mystifying why they closed the case June 14th, and then 24 hours later, Summer's gone.
Summer's mother, Candace, sat in for part of our interview, but got up after a few questions.
She was going to try, but her emotions are just too much.
The last update in the Summer
She's gonna try, but her emotions too much. We weren't able to get our mathematician today to there's no urgency to, it's already been 3 years now. What's the difference? That's what I hear. No urgency, guys. No, I mean, it's never been. They've been so whacked out of their minds the entire time. It's like 3 years later, they're still talking, and 4 years now. That was the 3 year when that interview, but at the 4 year, they're still talking just the way they did at the beginning. No urgency, with a lot of definitive statements by both of them. It makes no sense. All right. I think Hunter and Candace were busy and Summer drowned. Then it was all covered up. Again, there's another huge possibility. Not what I am thinking, but it's still a possibility that can't be ruled out.
Wells case from law enforcement was an age-progressed photo released in June of last year. This image was released by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation.
There's obviously exceptions, but a good rule of thumb is those who have nothing to hide don't hide anything at all. So the fact that Candace is so reticent in such a softball interview is a giant red flag. But a far bigger one, CPS getting involved in their lives just 24 hours before Summer went missing, because that would be a clear-cut motive for getting rid of her when they did if they knew CPS would have found signs of abuse on her body, or they were worried about what she might say. If you've been here a while, you'll know I think motives are a nice to have, not a must have. And that's because people aren't as rational as they are in the movies or TV shows. So the fact that we potentially have a motive at all, especially such a glaring time-sensitive one, is a gigantic red flag. If you want to continue the series, let me know by liking, commenting, and sharing. Until next time.
Oh, we're continuing this, buddy, and we got you now for more. Now, listen, that's eerie too, but you know what picture was really eerie to me? Was the barrel that said for sale where Summer was hanging out. You know what picture was really eerie to me? Was the barrel that said for sale where Summer was hanging out. Many people absolutely think that was an indication of what was to come, that she was actually sold. And many of you today still think that. All right, so let's before we get back into the next one, I've got some stuff I got to show you. We're gonna do we're gonna do a walkthrough. I'm gonna show you the shed, and then we're gonna get back to the next DD, and then we're gonna go inside of their house so you can see what's happening there, just in case you forgot, and you'll remember, and maybe you'll start to think, okay, maybe this was something different than I thought.
Stay true.
All right. Well, stay true, guys. I hope you all are subscribed to DD. All right. In my opinion, she drowned, you say? All right. There's so many different ways to go. Yeah. Disgusting, nasty house. All right. Let me do this. I still got the Michael Monkey Vaughn thing up. Now I have to do that episode since I put my foot in my mouth, so to speak. What's up, twin mommies? Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. All right. Hey, Jay, mods and crime crew. How are you doing? We're doing fantastic. Hit that like button. We're trying to get to, we need 300 likes, guys, and we're giving out a Foxy box. Summer's bedroom was a dungeon, MM Clar says. All right. Listen, the interview room does fantastic coverage of this, and I wanted to show you this clip, Summer Wells, and it says Hunter, it's done. All right, so let's take a look at this. It's never sat well with me that the shed was on Don Wells' mind the day Summer went missing. All right, that's the shed at the bottom of the hill. Let's look into this and see what you all think. And thank you, interview room. We don't need.
Oh, my child, I know. You hurt and you can't let go.
Right, I don't want to listen to this music.
It's not your fault and you don't deserve.
We're just gonna look at that. We're gonna look at that. I'm gonna take the music off. But what do y'all think of the shed at the bottom of the property? They're still playing music. Interview room thinks that Don Wells had that way too heavily on his mind. He thinks that the shed is very important. The cleanup. The clearing takes you to the house directly. All right. So I just want to know what you think. The music started off creepy. That's creepy, but let me move this out of the way. All right. Interview room thinks it's important, and they think that Don Wells has just talked about this way too many times for there not to be a significance to it. Is it all music? Yeah. A closer, I guess we can listen to a little music. Hopefully, I don't. To be a good man inside. What do you all think about that? Everything that you thought. Does anyone think the shed is not just creepy, but there's a significance? Didn't seem to do you any good. I was actually going to say that to you guys. I was going to say that shed is actually much nicer than the house. The windows they put in, and wait till we get to the house, guys. All right. Will anyone have any thoughts? I absolutely, Lisa, absolutely. I think that absolutely was a pedo shed. I think besides that, have you been searching, Candace Wells? Look, I think there's a significance to that. Marlena thinks that she got traded or sold. Look at that, right on Candace. Candace is real. She's an interesting character in this story, isn't she? Oh God, have you been cooperating? The whole family is just, I mean, we can be in a rabbit hole on this case for another 4 hours just today, right? The world's aware of you, Summer. And that's why we're doing this. The new information coming out, it's not much, but we're hoping for more. The world is aware of you, Summer. Over 4 years now. Yes, I agree. Poor little thing. She's so pretty. Thank you, interview room, for that. We got to remember the victims are why we're here, right? We would even be here looking at Dawn and Candace if it weren't for this little angel and the rest of the children that they abused. I wish they would talk. I wonder what they've been told or what they've seen, what they've heard. All right, I'll keep that up there for a second. Amber Alert, Summer Wells, 800 TBI find. I wonder what the other children would have to say about any of this. All right. They're not with them anymore. The shed's creepy, but why was that on Don Wells' mind so heavily? That's a good, thank you for that, Justice. I think the shed was the drop-off point for Summer, in my opinion. And guys, I hate to say this, but those cadaver dogs, how can they tell the difference? Well, not the cadaver dogs.